You are looking at a chart and your pupils dilate. This is not a metaphor. This is naked, brutal physiology. Your organism, that ancient, wet mechanism calibrated for survival in the tall grass of the savannah, has just received a threat signal. You think you are seeing a red candle, a market correction, or a dip in your portfolio, but your reptilian brain does not understand these concepts. It does not understand money, future, or retirement. It sees a predator. It sees the glint of teeth in the dark. It sees starvation. It sees expulsion from the tribe, where isolation equals death. And while you, in your profound naivety, attempt to engage logic, attempt to recall advice from books written by men who are just as scared as you are, your endocrine system has already flooded your blood with cortisol and adrenaline. You want to run. You want to save the crumbs that remain. Your finger hovers over the sell button, desperate to cauterize the wound, to fix the loss, just to feel relief. For a second, just one pathetic, fleeting second, you press it and you feel safe. You have escaped the imaginary tiger, but in reality, you have just slit the throat of your own future. Welcome to the reality. Welcome to the world where your self-preservation instinct is your executioner. Sit down and stop twitching. Stop looking for the exit. What I'm about to tell you, your brain will reject with the fury of a cornered beast. It will scream. It will seek excuses. It will cite external circumstances, geopolitics, manipulation, and the unpredictability of the economy. This is a defense mechanism. This is the high-pitched whining of a weak animal, terrified to look truth in the eye. And the truth is simple, cold, and indifferent to your suffering. You are poor, not because the market is complex, and not because you were denied inside information. You are poor because you are a biological machine that functions perfectly incorrectly for the environment in which you are trying to dominate. Your settings, forged by millions of years of evolution to save you from physical death, are now guaranteeing your social and financial death. You are programmed for poverty. Your internal firmware is sabotage. And until you rewrite this code, you will remain prey. Biomass. Feed for those who have managed to suppress the call of their ancestors and learn to think coldly, silencing that panic siren in their heads that screams danger every time opportunity knocks. Let us dissect your nature without pity, without the sweet, candy-coated lies fed to you by motivational speakers who profit from your hope. You seek safety. This is the baseline. It is the foundation of your hierarchy of needs. In the wild, safety meant predictability. A cave, a fire, a piece of meat, the proximity of others. If you had a resource, you hoarded it, hid it, protected it. You did not risk it. To risk was to die. To venture into the unknown was to be eaten. But in the domain of capital, this equation is inverted. Safety is the most dangerous risk of all. When you feel comfortable, when you feel secure in your conservative decisions, you're actually rotting. You're standing still in a river that flows swiftly toward a waterfall. You equate the absence of pain with progress, but the absence of pain is merely the anesthesia of mediocrity. You are slowly devouring yourself, metabolizing your own potential because you are terrified to step into the cold wind of uncertainty. You are a hominid clutching a stone tool, staring at a nuclear reactor, wondering why banging the rock against the console doesn't produce electricity. Look at the herd. Look around you. They move in unison, a single gelatinous mass of reaction. When the market bleeds, they panic and flee, trampling each other to get to the exits. When the market soars, they buy at the top, driven by the fear of missing out, another social instinct. The fear of being left behind by the pack, of being culled. They are not investors. They are reactive biological nodes responding to stimuli. They are incapable of independent thought because independent thought requires isolation from the emotional contagion of the tribe. And you are no different. You tell yourself that you analyze data, look at charts, read reports, check the fundamentals, but in reality, you are simply rationalizing your hormones. You buy when you feel a dopamine hit from universal optimism. You sell when you feel the icy spasm of fear in your gut. You do not trade assets. You trade your neurotransmitter levels. And the market, which is nothing more than a ruthless mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient, from the emotional to the cold, from the prey to the predator, thanks you for your donation. This is the tragedy of your existence. You possess a neocortex capable of abstract modeling, of building civilizations, of projecting consciousness into the future. Yet you allow the amygdala, primitive almond-shaped chunk of brainstem, to drive the machine. You are a supercomputer run by a terrified lizard, and the consequence consequences are not just a low account balance. The consequences are systemic failure. Every time you succumb to the instinct of safety, every time you retreat when you should press forward, you reinforce a neural pathway of weakness. You teach your brain that cowardice is rewarded with relief. You train yourself to be a loser. This is not an insult. It is a neurological fact. You are myelinating the circuits of failure. You are building a highway in your brain that leads directly to surrender. And over the years, this becomes your personality. It becomes your destiny. You become the one who almost did it, the one who could have been great, a stump in the forest that quietly rots while life grows around it, wrapping its roots around you and sucking the juice out of you. Do you feel that tightening in your chest, that shallow breath? That is your ego trying to protect you from this realization. It whispers that I am wrong, that I am arrogant, that I do not know your unique struggles, but I read you. I see the non-verbal signals you emit, even through the screen, the hesitation, the dilated pupils of a creature caught in the headlights of truth. You are waiting for a savior. You are waiting for the market to become safe. You are waiting for a signal that will never come, because the signal you are waiting for is permission to act without risk, and such permission does not exist in nature. The universe owes you nothing. It is indifferent to your survival. If you refuse to adapt, it will crush you, recycle you, and use your atoms to build something more viable. And right now, you are choosing to be recycled. You are choosing the slow suicide of inaction. You think that by doing nothing, you preserve the status quo. This is an illusion. Entropy is constant. If you are not building, you are decaying. Your savings are being devoured by inflation, an invisible predator you ignore because it lacks teeth you can see with your eyes. Your skills are becoming obsolete. Your mental edge is dulling. By sitting still, you are actively racing toward your own irrelevance. Let's go deeper. Let's look at the mechanism of your paralysis. Why is it so hard to execute? Why do you freeze? It's energy conservation. Your brain consumes 20% of your body's energy. It is designed to be efficient. Thinking, real, hard, calculative thinking, is metabolically expensive. Following a pattern, following the herd, doing what you did yesterday, that is cheap, that is easy. Your brain wants to put you on autopilot. It wants you to sleepwalk through life because sleepwalking is safe. But the autopilot is programmed for a world that no longer exists. The autopilot steers you away from pain. But in the game of wealth, pain is the indicator of value. The difficulty of a task is directly proportional to the reward. If it feels easy, if it feels safe, the opportunity is already gone. The crowd has already eaten the carcass. You are fighting for scraps. To feast, you must go where the others are afraid to go. You must enter the dark cave, but your instinct screams, no. You are fighting a war against your own biology, and you are losing. You are losing because you don't even realize you're on the battlefield. You think you are investing, or saving, or planning. You are not. You are simply reacting to chemical signals. Cortisol spikes, you pull back. Dopamine spikes, you push forward. You are a puppet on strings made of hormones, and the market makers, the algorithms, the predators who understand this code, they are pulling the strings. They know exactly when you will break. They can see your pain threshold on the chart. They hunt your stop losses because they know exactly where your fear forces you to place them. You need to understand the concept of the trap of comfort. Comfort is the womb. It is warm. It is soft. It is fed. But nothing grows in the womb forever. If you stay there too long, you die. You suffocate. Most of you have turned your lives into a womb. You have insulated yourselves from shock. You have built walls of excuses to keep the reality out. I'm not ready. I don't have enough time. It's too risky. These are the walls of your womb. And inside, you are withering. Your muscles, mental and physical, are atrophying. You see, the animal that stops hunting begins to digest its own organs. That is what depression is. That is what that gnawing sense of emptiness is. It is your primal self screaming that you have become useless. You have no mission. You have no hunt. You are merely existing, consuming resources, waiting for the end. And deep down, in the darkest part of your subconscious, you know it. You despise yourself for it. That is why you can't look in the mirror. That is why you need distractions. Netflix, alcohol, scrolling, endless mindless consumption of garbage information. Anything to silence the voice that says, you are failing, you are dying. But I'm here to amplify that voice. I'm here to make it so loud that you cannot sleep. I want you to feel the panic. Not the panic of the market, but the panic of wasted time, the panic of a life unlived. Every second you spend in this state of hesitation is a second you will never get back. It is a brick in the wall of your tomb. Consider the illusion of control. You love this one. You surround yourself with data. You draw lines on charts. You read the news. You think that if you have enough information, you can eliminate the risk. You are like a primitive man trying to predict the weather by looking at the entrails of a goat. You are looking for certainty in a chaotic system. The market is a second-order chaotic system. It reacts to your predictions. The moment you think you have found the pattern, The pattern changes because everyone else found it too. You are frantically pushing buttons on a holographic panel that is disconnected from the mechanics of reality. You are a child playing with a plastic steering wheel while the car flies off a cliff. Admit that you are stuck. This is the first step. Not the polite admission of, I could do better, but the visceral, nauseating admission that you are trapped in a loop of your own making. Blind repetition of other people's scenarios is a road to nowhere. You imitate the actions of the successful without understanding the psychology of the successful. You wear the skin of a lion while your heart beats like a rabbit. You copy the form, but inside you are hollow. You must stop, freeze, look at the wreckage, write down your most obvious illusions. Take a sheet of paper, physical paper, tangible reality, and list the lies you tell yourself to sleep at night. I'm waiting for the right moment. Lie. There is no right moment. Time is a flat circle of chaos. I'm being prudent. Lie. You're being a coward. I will start when I have more capital. Lie. You will lose that capital too because your software is corrupted. These are the bars of your cage. You forge them yourself. You lock the door yourself. And the key is in your hand. But you are too terrified to turn it because opening the door means stepping out into the cold wind of responsibility where there is no one to blame but yourself. No government to save you. No boss to direct you. No parents to comfort you. Just you and the abyss. It is uncomfortable, isn't it? To realize that the enemy is not the hedge funds, not the government, not the economy, but the gray matter between your ears. It hurts to realize that your vaunted intuition is simply fear wearing the mask of wisdom. But this pain is necessary. It is the signal that the anesthesia is wearing off. If you do not feel this pain, you are already dead. You are a walking corpse performing social rituals, a ghost haunting your own life. This is the state of the modern man, a predator with no teeth, a warrior with no war. You are drowning in comfort, suffocating in safety, and your financial struggle is just a symptom. It is the fever, not the disease. The disease is your disconnection from the primal code. The disease is your refusal to accept the laws of nature. Nature rewards aggression. Nature rewards adaptation. Nature rewards the one who can endure uncertainty without collapsing. What do you do when the pressure mounts? You fold. You look for the path of least resistance. But the path of least resistance leads to the slaughterhouse. The cattle follow the path of least resistance right up until the bolt gun hits their forehead. To survive, to thrive, you must choose the path of most resistance. You must choose the hill. You must choose the storm. Now listen to me, and listen closely, because we are entering the engine room of your failure. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to tell you that everything will be okay. Most likely, it won't be. For the vast majority of you, the slide into oblivion is irreversible because you lack the spine to arrest the fall. You will watch this video, feel a momentary spike of motivation, another dopamine hit, another cheap drug, and then you will return to your comfortable rot. You will close the tab and return to scrolling, looking for a softer truth, a gentler lie, and that is your choice. You have the right to rot. You have the right to be compost for history. The forest floor needs fertilizer. But for the chosen few, for the mutations, for the statistical outliers, for those who feel the suffocating pressure of the closing walls and decide it is better to break their bones in the fight than to suffocate in silence, there is a choice. But first, you must understand the weapon used against you. That weapon is your own chemistry. You are an addict. You might not inject needles or smoke glass, but make no mistake, you are a junkie. You are addicted to the path of least resistance. You are addicted to the cheap synthetic validation of the digital world. Why do you check your portfolio 10 times a day? Do you think the fundamentals of the global economy have shifted in the last 45 minutes? No, you check because you want a hit. Green numbers, dopamine, red numbers, cortisol. You are stimulating your brain because you are bored. You are bored with the slow, grinding reality of building true wealth. Real wealth is boring. Real survival is monotonous. It is waiting in the ambush for days, motionless, ignoring the cramps, ignoring the hunger, waiting for the one perfect moment to strike. But you have the attention span of a fruit fly. You cannot wait. You need action. You need noise. So you overtrade. You tinker. You sabotage the process because the silence of discipline terrifies you. In the silence, you are forced to be alone with yourself and you hate that company. Let's talk about mental obesity. You consume information like a glutton consumes sugar. You watch videos. You listen to podcasts. You read articles about mindset and strategy. You feel productive. You feel like you are learning, but you are not. You are just getting fat. You are stuffing your brain with calories you never burn. Information without execution is poison. It creates the illusion of competence. You think because you understand the concept of a push-up, you are strong. You are not. You are weak, flabby, and delusional. You have confused knowing with being. You know what to do. Every single person watching this knows, fundamentally what they need to do. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference. Manage risk. Control emotions. It is not quantum physics. A child could understand it, yet you do not do it. Why? Because knowing is a function of the neocortex, but doing is a function of the lizard brain. And your lizard is in charge. Your lizard screams, "I want it now." Your lizard screams, "That looks scary," and you obey. You are a slave to the oldest, stupidest part of your biology. This is why smart people fail. I see them all the time. High IQ, degrees, articulate. They analyze the market to death. They can tell you every reason why a crash is coming or why a boom is coming. They possess encyclopedic knowledge, and they are broke. They are paralyzed by their own intelligence. They see every variable, every risk, every potential outcome, and they freeze. They are deer in the headlights of their own complexity. Meanwhile, the savage, the one who operates on instinct honed by discipline, who ignores the noise and strikes when he sees the neck exposed, he eats, he wins. Not because he is smarter, but because he is effective. Efficiency is for robots. Effectiveness is for predators. You are trying to be efficient at losing. I want you to be effective at surviving. You must force yourself to act against your instincts. This is the core of the primal code. When fear screams stop, you must interpret it as a green light. Fear is a compass. It points to where the growth is. If you are not afraid, you are in the comfort zone, and the comfort zone is the kill zone. When comfort whispers rest, take a break, you deserve it. You must interpret it as a threat to life. That voice is not your friend. That is the voice of entropy dragging you back to the mud. You must rewire the reward mechanism so that pain becomes the indicator of progress. This is not something you try for a week. This is a reconstruction of your entire being. It is a conscious rejection of the normal life. Because the normal life is a slow death sentence signed with a smile. The normal life is debt. The normal life is obesity. The normal life is regret. Do you want to be normal? Look at the average man. Look at his eyes. The light is gone. He is a husk. If that is what you want, close this video. Go back to the herd. They are waiting for you. They will tell you it's okay to give up. They will validate your mediocrity because your failure makes them feel better about their own. But if you stay, if you are still here, then you must accept the burden of the outlier. You must accept that you cannot trust your own brain. This is the hardest pill to swallow. You think you are you. You think your thoughts are yours. They are not. Most of your thoughts are just biological noise and social programming. I can't do this. That's noise. What if I fail? That's noise. I need more time. That's noise. You need a systemic bypass, an override. You need to impose a new protocol on your biology, a protocol that ignores the noise and executes the command. Can you do this alone? Look at your history. Be honest. Look at the trail of abandoned projects, broken promises to yourself, and half measures, the unfinished courses, the diets that lasted 3 days, the budgets you ignored after a week, the trading journals you stopped writing in. The evidence screams, no, you cannot do this alone. You are likely too deeply stuck in the matrix of your own excuses. The gravity of your habits is too strong. You try to climb out of the pit, but your fingernails break and you slide back into the mud, exhausted, telling yourself, I'll try tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. There is only an eternal today where you are losing. You are drowning in your own biochemistry. You are fighting a nuclear war with a stick. You are trying to perform surgery on yourself while you are awake and screaming. It is arrogance. It is the height of stupidity to think you can debug your own code while the program is running. Realize this. To navigate a minefield, you do not guess. You do not use a hunch. You do not manifest a safe path. You follow the map of someone who has already crossed it and kept their legs. Structures exist. Algorithms of behavior exist that bypass the emotional defects of the primal brain. Paths exist, hacked through the jungle by those who swung machetes while you shivered in the bushes. I'm not selling you a dream. I'm telling you that maps exist, but maps are useless if you do not know how to read them. And right now, you are illiterate. You look at the map and you see squiggly lines. You need a translator. You need a guide, not a friend, not a cheerleader. A guide who will grab you by the collar and drag you away from the cliff edge when your stupid, panic-stricken brain tries to jump. For those who are drowning, for those who understand that their own thrashing only pulls them deeper, there are structured routes. These are not for tourists. These are not for idlers who want to get rich quick. These are for the desperate. These are for those who have reached the point of absolute intolerance for their own bullshit. For those who understand that they cannot pull themselves out by their own hair. Perhaps you are one of them. Perhaps you are finally finally ready to admit your incompetence in the face of chaos. Admitting incompetence is power. It is the moment the ego dies and the learner is born. As long as you think you kind of know what you're doing, you are doomed. You have to reach zero. You have to reach the point where you say, I am blind, I am lost, I am prey. Only then can you begin to become a predator. You have a decision to make in this silence, not later. Now, the clock is ticking, and it is not counting time. It is counting the decay of your cells. It is counting the opportunities passing you by, never to return. You can continue to trust the brain that led you to this dead end. You can continue to hope that magic will happen, that the universe will take pity on you, or you can admit that you are incapable of saving yourself using old methods. Let's talk about the lone wolf myth. You love this image, don't you? The solitary figure standing against the world. It appeals to your vanity, but in the wild, the lone wolf is usually a dead wolf or a starving one. Wolves hunt in packs. They have a hierarchy. They have a structure. They rely on the strength of the unit. You are trying to be a lone wolf in a market dominated by packs of killer whales. You are being shredded. Yes, you must be mentally independent. You must detach from the emotional herd, but you must attach yourself to a tactical hierarchy. You need a system that is smarter than you are. You need rules that are stronger than your will. Willpower is a finite resource. It is a battery. Every decision you make drains it. Every time you resist a cookie, every time you force yourself to work, you drain the battery. By the time you need to make a critical financial decision, your battery is dead. And when the battery is dead, the lizard takes over. The lizard wants to sell at the bottom to stop the pain. The lizard wants to buy at the top to feel the pleasure. You need a system that works when your battery is dead. You need a system that executes the right move, even when you are tired, scared, depressed, or euphoric. You need an external hard drive for a brain that has run out of memory. You need an autopilot for a pilot having a stroke. There are proven systems. There are rigid, ruthless frameworks designed to strip away emotion, shut up the inner monkey, and force execution where before there was only doubt. These systems do not care about your feelings. They care about results. They are binary, 0 or 1, do or do not, profit or loss. For the select few, there are other methods, other paths, but these paths are guarded. They are guarded by the requirement of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your pride. You have to sacrifice your belief that you are special. You are not special. You are broken. But broken things can be fixed if they are forged in fire. If you are not ready to take a ready-made, structured path shown to you, you are doomed to walk in circles until you collapse from exhaustion. You will dig holes and call it construction. You will run on a treadmill and call it a journey. If you are arrogant enough to think you can reinvent the wheel while the car is burning, go ahead. Write down your illusions. Try to fight your DNA with sheer willpower. See how long you last before the cortisol breaks you and you crawl back to the safety of the herd. I've seen it 1,000 times. The heroic attempt that lasts 3 days. It is pathetic. It is predictable. It is boring. But if you have even a drop of humility born of genuine desperation, you might understand that you need an external force. You need a code that does not belong to you. You need to surrender your failed strategy and accept one that has survived the fire. You need to understand the concept of surrender to win. It sounds like a paradox. The primal mind hates paradoxes. It wants simple, linear answers. But life is non-linear. Sometimes to conquer a mountain, you must go down into the valley first. To conquer the market, you must surrender your ego to the rules of the system. You must become a disciplined servant of the algorithm before you can become the master of your destiny. You are standing at the crossroads. One path leads back to the warm, stinking comfort of your current life. The Netflix path, the it's not my fault path, the path of slow decay. The other path is dark. It is covered in thorns. It is steep. It requires you to leave your baggage behind. It requires you to admit you know nothing. But it is the only path that leads up, or walk a strictly described route, if your own thinking has already failed, or for those who understand that their strength is only enough to follow someone else's proven map, and they will not offer a wide road, but a narrow, proven path. I am indifferent to your choice. The world will spin regardless of whether you are a master or a slave. The market will move regardless of whether you profit or burn. The algorithm of the universe does not pause to mourn the inefficient. But understand one thing, and understand it with every cell of your dying body. Inaction is not neutral. You tell yourself, I'm just taking time to think. No, you are not. Inaction is a decision to let the rot spread. Inaction is an active command to your cells to decay. Every minute you delay forming your own survival plan or finding the map that leads out of this hell is a minute you steal from your own life. It is an act of aggression against your future self. You are robbing the old man you will become of his dignity. You are condemning him to eat cat food and stare at a wall because the young man, you, right now, was too cowardly to pull the trigger. So look at the screen, look at the chaos. Do you see the threat or do you see the opportunity? The untrained eye sees chaos. The trained eye sees liquidity. The prey sees danger. The predator sees dinner. If you still see the tiger, you are lost. You need to learn to see the matrix. You need to learn to read the code that runs beneath the surface of the candles. And if your eyes are too clouded by fear to read it yourself, if the cataract of safety has blinded you, then you must find those who can translate it for you, or with the help of those who have already walked this route and returned with the gold. The normal life is a slaughterhouse. Do not let the clean walls and the polite society fool you. It is a slaughterhouse. You are standing in line, waiting for the hammer, distracted by the screens in your hand, lulled by the comfort of the air conditioning. You are marching toward your own obsolescence. Step out of the line. Break the pattern. Pain is the price of freedom. Uncertainty is the cost of power. Pay it or don't. Remain a stump. Let the moss cover your eyes. Let the fungi of mediocrity break down your fibers. The forest does not mourn dead wood. It consumes it to feed the new growth. Be the new growth or be the food. This is your ultimatum. There is no third option. There is no middle ground where you get to keep your comfort and gain your freedom. That is a fairy tale for children, sold to you by marketers who despise you. You are an adult. You are a predator who has forgotten how to hunt. You have dulled your claws on the pavement of civilization. Remember, sharpen them or die. The path is narrow. It is steep. It is slippery with the tears of those who tried to climb it without boots. It is lined with the failures of those who tried to walk it half-heartedly, who tried to bring their baggage, their ego, and their excuses with them. Gravity is unforgiving, but the path is there. It exists. It is cut into the rock. For those ready to stop hoping and start executing. For those ready to admit that blind repetition of other people's scenarios is a path to nowhere, and that they need a specific, tailored, brutal strategy to rewrite their biological program. Do not look for sympathy here. Sympathy is for the victim. Sympathy is the tribe comforting the weak so they die quietly. I will not comfort you. You are not a victim. You are a volunteer in your own destruction. You signed the contract of mediocrity with your own apathy. Stop volunteering. Resign from the cult of comfort. Tear up the contract. If you can find the way yourself, start now. Do not wait for Monday. Do not wait for the new year. Do not wait for the market to bottom. Identify the fear. Name it. I'm afraid of losing money. Good. Now use that fear. I'm afraid of looking stupid. Good. Kill the ego. Disobey the instinct that tells you to hide. But if you know in the darkest, most honest corner of your mind that you are not strong enough to break the chains alone, if you know that the illusion of control will seduce you again tomorrow, if you know that you will wake up and check the phone and fall back into the dopamine loop, then stop pretending. Stop lying to the face in the mirror. He knows you are lying. Seek the structured routes. Seek the proven methods. Seek the guidance that does not coddle you, but commands you. Seek the systems that are built on the bones of the market, not on the fluff of theory. Seek the mentors who do not want your friendship, but demand your discipline. You need a framework that acts as a straitjacket for your lizard brain. You need a set of rules that you are terrified to break. You need accountability that feels like a knife at your throat, because that is what it takes. That is the voltage required to jumpstart a heart that has stopped beating. I have given you the diagnosis. You are infected with the virus of comfort. I have shown you the prognosis, terminal decay, and I've pointed to the cure. Radical systemic reconstruction of your behavior through valid external protocols. The rest is silence. The rest is the void between your intention and your action. Most of you will die in that void. You will hover on the edge of the decision, paralyzing yourselves with what ifs until the opportunity rots. But a few of you will cross the gap. A few of you will realize that the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. A few of you will reach out and grab the map. The choice is yours. But remember, the clock is not stopping. The sun is setting on your potential. The rot is not sleeping. It is eating you while you sit there. And the predator is not out there in the market. The predator is already inside you. It is your own weakness. It is your own doubt. It is your own need for safety. Kill it or let it eat you.